and allow me to be the very first to welcome you to the Masters of the Nerdiverse. Welcome to the Nerdiverse. Go ahead, sit and listen to the masters, the old heads, talk about what you love the most. Video games, comics, movies, and everything you need to maintain your week. Got the knowledge that's straight out the ether. Gonna need a drink and have to take a seat to expand your mind and listen to the speaker. Mike and the squad's gonna give you what you need. Please send in a question, come and get some answers, learn a couple lessons from the masters with the special guests. We got the Green Lanterns glowing on their chest. Yes, please sit back and relax, cause we gonna hit you with them stone cold facts and allow me to be the very first to welcome you to the Masters of the Nerdiverse. Hello. I believe we are live here with Masters of the Nerdiverse. As you know it, this is Motn Figured It Out, where we take a look at some of the biggest news in the world of collecting. May that be collecting 1/6 scale, may that be collecting fig pins, may that be collecting Marvel Legends. Whatever is your flavor, I'm here to provide the flavoring. I'm of course your host, Mike G, and tonight we have a very interesting episode. We got some interesting picks here that I would love to discuss with everyone. Just want to test everything, make sure everything is looking good, looking live, and I believe so. So tonight we have some updates. Tonight we have some releases, a couple of surprises, and some talking points. So I think it would be a nice, even evening. Of course, Motn Live, Motn Figured It Out is a live show. So we like to stop by and say hi on YouTube, on Twitch, however you would like to come through and chill with your boy Mike while we talk figures. That'll be great. I'm just gonna send out, sorry for the late start this evening. It's been a hell of a day and I am just kind of getting my bearings and ready to talk some figures. Only thing I'm missing now is a glass of Cavassier. Truth be told, I've had Cavassier once. Wasn't all that great. It's just fun to say. So tonight we're on episode 7 of the Figured It Out live stream, where we're talking 1/6 scale figures. Tonight's called the Punk Pool because we have two Marvel themed. We have one Marvel themed announcement and one Marvel themed release that we're going to be focusing on this evening. And as you can see, we finally got our Ryan Reynolds head sculpt for Deadpool and Wolverine, as well as the release of Spider-Punk. What's going on, Bradley? Thank you for coming through on such short notice. I'm running a bit behind this evening, but I think we have everything going good. Tell me how we sound, bro. How do I look? How do I sound? Always want to do a nice little temperature check before we really get started. Give everybody some time to file in, get those notifications in, and just be able to get the party rolling. So please let me know how everything is looking while I grab me a beverage, because I'm going to be doing a whole lot of talking tonight. Right? You know what's worse than apple juice? You good, bro? We good, bro. Good old apple drink. Not purple stuff, but red stuff. So the modus operandi for these, if this is your first time watching Motn Figured It Out, is that I love to collect. I've been a collector since I was a child, collecting Marvel cards, figures. It's just something I just never grew out of. What? Go figure. No pun intended. And I would like to use this channel not only to just showcase events from the week, but also just give my experience as a 1/6 scale collector. If you're interested in breaking into this hobby, please feel free to ask me any kind of questions you have. There's no such thing as a dumb question. Maybe in chat, maybe in the comments on this YouTube episode, or if you can find us on Instagram at Masters of the Nerdiverse Podcast. So please feel free to reach out to me, reach out to the squadron. We'll treat you right. We'll treat you right. Perfect. So with no further ado, let's jump into these topics, shall we? Let's jump into these announcements and releases. My brain just completely fried right there. That's totally fine. So after long await, we finally have our Ryan Reynolds head sculpt Deadpool from the film Deadpool and Wolverine. They're calling this the battling version, but for those who've had an action figure here and there, you know this to be a battle damaged version of the figure. And this one is quite the beauty. It's very, very, very pretty to look at in regards to what it comes with. But there's some things that are mixed up about it that I'm going to get into that I think should have been, I would say, organized a bit differently. As you can see to the image to the left, this thing comes chock full of assortments and accoutrements, including a completely realized Ryan Reynolds in the Wade Wilson makeup head sculpt, even a half sculpt, which is super cool. I think it's the coolest feature of this figure, as well as a small array of weapons, a LED light up TVA portal, which I think is one of the cooler, I would say, pieces of this release, or this announcement rather, as well as the full Wolverine skeleton, including the bone claws from the iconic Bye 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 intro. Just initial thoughts on this bad boy. It's tough because if you're a battle damage person, you're going to want to roll with this one, only because battle damage does look cool in certain situations. But me, I like my character to look like their iconic version, so most of the time I will go clean, but this one kind of pulls at you a little bit because it's requesting you to forego a complete Ryan Reynolds head sculpt, which has never happened from between Deadpool's 1 and 2, and this being 3. They never got the license, or it just never came to fruition. So here we finally get that head sculpt, and on to the next slide, you just get a better look at it. I think the head sculpt is about a 9 out of 10. I like the look. It's not too stoic. It has a bit of like a tinge of personality to it, but it's not wacky, so it's not like you're only going to be stuck doing one pose. He looks very matter of fact, which is Ryan Reynolds' modus operandi. Comes with rolling eyeballs, which is always good. And just, I'm overall okay with the head sculpt. I think they did a pretty good job. On to the things that I kind of am weirded out about this one. Yeah, it's pretty clean. Yeah, I think this one is looking really neat. I think it's a companion piece to the clean version. You can have both of these on the shelf. One clean Deadpool and iconic, and one as the Ryan Reynolds version with the mask off. I like half mask. That's kind of the one I'm kind of leaning towards. But this is definitely a shelf stealer. I think this is one that you can't go wrong either way, I believe, with either of these figures. So I would highly recommend this one. Just once again alluding to what I think is kind of the off point of this figure is that it's interesting because at this point of the movie, Deadpool is clean. He's just starting, so he's not battle damaged. So for this scene, it technically should be the clean version that gets the claws and the Wolverine's spinal cord in the head and, in the TVA portal. And funny enough, the battle damaged version should get the dog pull and head pull and golden gun. So it's almost like you have to buy both and do a accessory swap. You know what I mean? Like you have to buy both so that you can swap the accessories for their respective scenes to be more screen accurate. I don't know if that is a planned attack by Hot Toys to say, we got them, we're going to make them get both, or if this is going to be, if this is some kind of like logistical mistake. But it's just weird how that kind of all came together. One thing also to call out about this figure is that with the clean version, you get separate eyeballs that you can use for different expressions. This one doesn't come with that, which is interesting because most Spidey figures and most Deadpool figures, and usually full Max figures, get an assortment of magnetic eyes you can pluck out and swap out if you wanted to do different expressions and things like that. But with this one, you're not getting that. You're just getting the static Deadpool kind of grimace, which is interesting. But also, this comes with 3 different head sculpts, so you can't really complain. All in all, would I get this one is always the question. Yes, absolutely. I would absolutely get this one. Would this be my definitive Deadpool? Why not? I mean, Deadpool has always been a scrappy character. He's always been in and out of damage one way or another. Damage is part of his MO. So having a battle damage Deadpool makes sense. Would I ever use the head sculpt? I'm not really a head sculpt guy. I like my character to look as their iconic look. I don't want Ryan Reynolds on my shelf. I want Deadpool, if that makes sense. I don't want Chris Evans on my shelf. Can it fit in my collection? Currently, no, it can't fit in my collection. And that's one thing about collecting that you have to really take in mind. That's a good question, Bradley. Is that you have to collect based upon what direction you want your collection to go. You know, would I like a Wolverine and Deadpool like shelf on my Marvel shelf? Do I love it that much? I don't know. I have Wolverine pre-ordered, the Hugh Jackman, which it hasn't come out yet. I may get that one. I may cancel it because my heart's not completely in it. You know what I mean? And am I willing to dedicate a whole shelf to Wolverine and Deadpool? I don't know. I just don't know. I'm just not that big of a fan, if that makes sense. So yeah, this is, would I get it would I kick it out of bed for crackers? No. Like, this is a really good figure. If it's anything like the clean version, it's going to be really well built, minus the ankle pegs. I think there's going to be some refinements to this one. It has a while before it comes out, so they have time to fine tune some things. Maybe even give us the swappable eyes at some point. So all in all, I'll give this a high score. If you already have the original, I don't think you'll lose sleep not getting this one. But if you missed out on that Deadpool, throw some ducats at this one. I think you're going to be very happy to have this guy in your collection, minus dog pull and head pull and all the crazy stuff the clean version came with. Perfect. And now for something completely different. This is the Across the Spider-Verse Spider-Punk that was announced a while back with the run of Across the Spider-Verse that announced the Miles Morales and announced the Spider-Man 2099 and the Spider-Punk and Spider-Gwen. And this is the Spider-Punk that was just announced. Ooh, first impressions. First impressions for this one. I am kind of curious. I'm very floored by this one. I don't know. I love it when Hot Toys does something completely outside of their wheelhouse and gives you a figure that is not what they normally do. So Hot Toys and InArt and these companies really try to go for photo realism. Yeah, this is very interesting, ain't it, Bradley? Most of the time they go for photorealism. Most of the time they're going for having that human being on your shelf. But in this case, what do? you can't really give it realistic features. So you lean into the animation. You try to make it look like it's coming off the screen. And I think they pulled that off amazingly with this Spider-Punk figure. He's lanky where it needs to be, so the proportions look good. We haven't even gotten to the head sculpt. I think that's pleather. I'm not sure if it's leather. Comes with a full guitar, even a full background. You'll see on the next slide. But I think this guy looks actually amazing. So just to go into more detail, first of all, let's talk about the head sculpt of the Spider-Punk with the animated hair. Yes, he comes with rolling eyes. This thing is going to be a shelf stealer. I promise you that. This is going to be like, what the hell is that? That looks super cool. It's not really held back by anything, so you can be, like you see here, you can be able to pose him however you want. You can go with the maxed version, which looks super slick with the spiked mohawk. I personally would go with the Robbie hair and it just looks badass. I don't know, this one is really calling to me. I love the guitar. I love like the animation, England kind of like punk rock background. It comes with like a little diorama kind of fold out, kind of like the comic version of Spider-Man came with. Doesn't come with a lot. I think that's the only critique I can give on this guy, is that he doesn't come with a lot. But most Spider-Man figures don't, because Spider-Man into himself is not a accessory character. You know what I mean? Definitely will go with the Dreadhead. Absolutely. This is one that you can. There's certain figures I love that you could just have by themselves and just sit on your desk at work, or sit on your work desk at home, or just advertise by itself. But like, oh, that's tight. That's pretty sick. So this is one I think has the strength to stand on its own, and honestly, it's the most impressive to me of the Across the Spider-Verse figures that have been announced. I love the attention to detail on all the buttons, and I love the guitar that he comes with. Once again, I love how flexible the figure is, and also just really just the head sculpt. They didn't have to do that. They didn't have to give you the Robbie head sculpt with the rolling eyes, but they did. So, of course, the two golden questions, right? Would this fit in my collection, and would I buy it? And honestly, if I have to keep it a buck, the answer to both is no. I'm a very new collector, so I don't have a deep roster, and honestly, I don't want one. I want my collection to be very quaint and very small. I want each figure to stand on its own. Not knocking anyone who army builds or has 75 figures to one shelf. Hey, if you like it, I love it. Just for me, I like simplicity, and I want 2 or 3 figures to a shelf, and that shelf to represent a certain scene or a certain brand or a certain just aesthetic. And if I was to go in on him, I would need to also go in on, let's say, Spider-Gwen and Miles. Yeah, you would definitely get this one. Yeah, I mean, you could, if you don't want to be a giant collector, like I'm saying, you could just get this one and be good, and that will be your, freak flag. Toots, what's good? Thank you for going to that show earlier. Just plugs. MOTM was at the Comics Den today, representing for a toy drive. Toots was up there on the scene like April O'Neil, holding it down. So much respect to Toots. Salute. You're doing the Lort's work. Thank you for coming through. I know I was running a bit late this evening, but we in effect, we here. We chilling. But yeah, Toots, tell me what you think about this figure. Tell me what you think about Spider-Punk, as it were. I just love the swag of this. I just love the swag on this figure. I just love the aura farming it's doing, as the kids would say. And I think this. Well, you know what, Bradley? I think this would be a good first figure for someone that's just getting into the hobby. Because I don't think this guy's that expensive. I think he's like under 200. But that's expensive, right? But 1/6 scale is not a cheap hobby. I will say that till I'm blue in the face. But I think this is a good entry level figure for someone who's like, man, I love Into the Spider-Verse. Man, he was my favorite character. And he stole the show. If you watch the movie, he absolutely stole the show. So I can see this being someone's first figure and introducing them to the hobby. You know, 1/6 scale figures don't have, well, they strive not to have joints. They don't have seams. This isn't a toy. This isn't an action figure. It's a posable statue. You know what I mean? That is going for realism or surrealism. We got you next time, B. We definitely got you next time, B. And I believe they were doing advertisements. We were doing advertisements on Instagram. So just keep eye on Instagram when we do events and stuff like that. This year we're planning on doing some really good events. We're really going to be out there. We just bought some business cards. I'm going to get myself a blazer. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be a good year. It's already being a good year for MOTN. But I digress. Spider-Punk. Would I get this if I was just getting into collecting? Hell yeah. Would I get this as a gift for someone who I knew liked the character? Hell yeah. This is nowhere in any means, shape, or form a bad figure. I have nothing negative to say about it. Other than, I'm not even sure what else this would come with. Maybe more webbing. I don't know. He comes with the diorama base. He comes with a guitar, which is an accessory you don't get often in Hot Toys. People love their guitars. And he comes with a head sculpt with rolling eyes. So you can't really ask for more when it comes to a figure like this. So really excited for this release. And is there a Miles 1/6? Oh yeah, there's a couple of Miles. There is the original Miles from Into the Spider-Verse. There is Miles from Spider-Man 2, which we'll be talking about later, funny enough. And there is the Prowler's Miles that's coming out for Across the Spider-Verse. So Miles has pretty good 1/6 scale representation. I mean, he's not on the Mount Rushmore with Peter Parker, but yeah, there's plenty of Miles opportunities that you can still get in 1/6 scale. And trust me, Miles isn't going anywhere. So I think there's going to be a lot of Miles figures in the future. Perfect. I think I gave some pretty good 2 cents on this figure. So I think we can move forward to this insane beast of a collectible. So this is something I really don't talk about because honestly, I have zero interests in this side of the hobby. You would definitely get a mouse too. Yeah, I mean, like a Miles. Yeah, Miles is dope. I definitely would get a Miles. If I was a dedicated Spider-Man fan, you know what I'm saying. Miles is a good figure as well. So there's a whole thing to this. So this is a 1/6 scale, 9 foot by 13. Back to the Future DeLorean from Back to the Future 2. And that's the caveat, Bradley. You're saying it would be dope, but I don't know where it would fit on what shelf. There's a whole subsection of 1/6 scale collectors that collect vehicles. And vehicles are a completely different animal. There's bikes. You can get bikes like the bike from the Batman. You can get the 1989 Batmobile. Pretty much every Batmobile from every movie's been made. Hot Toys has put out every version of this vehicle. They put out the Back to the Future 1, Back to the Future 2, and Back to the Future 3, the Stagecoach version. In anticipation for this, not 9 foot, sorry, 9 inches. 9 inches tall and 13 inches long. It's not taller than me. That would be dope. But this is the Blitzway Back to the Future DeLorean that was been announced before, but we're just now getting a look at it. And this thing is an automobile. First impressions. I can't hate. This is one of those words like I can't hate. If I had the space and I had the money, would I go into vehicles? Yeah, because a vehicle can completely change your collection. Like you get like a Hot Toys Doc Brown, a Hot Toys Marty with this thing. No one else is looking at anything else in your room. they're looking at this. This is the ultimate shelf stealer. That you'd have to hire a display company to build something around this thing, like a damn vault, because it's so big. I believe it's made fully die cast, so it probably weighs at least 20 to 30 pounds, like 40 pounds. Nice little curl off this bad boy. And we're gonna go into what it does. This thing is damn near an automobile. So if you look into it, the entire internal is custom leather. No skimps. No skimps. That's a car. This is a vehicle. No, don't get it twisted. This thing has power steering, power windows. When you push the brake light comes on. Everything lights up. It has LED front. I think it's like ULEV front lighting. I think this thing has a damn suspension. It is absolutely insane. The wheels flip under so you can do hover mode. Everything's functional. There's power doors, so the doors open automatically. They just flip up. Mind you, for reference, the Hot Toys version of these vehicles are toys. They light up. They're cute. I think there's some die-cast in there. They go for like $800, mind you. This bad boy is like $99 plus 4 pennies. $9.99 plus full pennies. And I would not know what to do with this. Oh yeah. Yeah, this thing has its own Carfax, pretty much. You need to make sure you get this thing insured by Liberty. Yeah, this is an investment. This is like, and mind you, it gets crazier than this. This depends on some of the customs they have out there. It gets kind of nutty, but for like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a mass production. This one is not really that. What's the word I'm looking for? Available. None of this stuff is like you can buy at Target, right? It's fairly difficult to hunt these things down unless you're like in the hobby. Like even me, I wouldn't know where to get this thing. You know, I have my certain places I shop and things like that. But it would be kind of hard for me to find on my end. You know what I mean? So yeah. That thing actually looks like it go back in the future, right? That's exactly. So, of course, two big questions, right? Would it fit my collection? And would I purchase it? Would it fit in my collection? No, I have no space for this thing. I barely have space for my own car. Nevertheless, this car, where I live. So no, unfortunately, this one would not come home to me. But would I buy it? Hell yeah. If I had the money, if I had the means. The cool thing about this is that it's made from a different company, but you could get you a Hot Toys Doc Brown, a Hot Toys Marty McFly, put them in the car, you got yourself a whole display. At a fog machine, we're going back to the future. You know what I'm saying? So this is definitely one that if you're in this section of the Nerdiverse and you're collecting this particular type of vehicles, have at it. Definitely have at it. One moment, please. Gotta love when you get messages in the middle of stream. I'm streaming people. So moving on to something that is completely, I don't know what this really is. This is, excuse me, the Fractal Mark IV armor Iron Man. And this is another facet of the collector's world that I need to explain, because it's like, what is this, right? You're looking at this, why is this a bedazzled Iron Man? And for some reason, in this collection, ever since it's been going on, the main markets, of course, are China, which these figures are made from Hong Kong, Japan, and US. The two major markets being China and I believe Japan. And they absolutely love Iron Man. They absolutely love this character as much as the ambulance in the back does. So Hot Toys will never stop making Iron Man variants and Iron Man figures in all different kinds of like configurations. Getting Iron Man's a slippery slope. Yeah, because you're going to be buying, if you have a addictive personality and you have like, I gotta catch them all Pokemon type mind state, this is not a hobby for you, man. Because you're going to be spending thousands of dollars on these things, especially if you're an Iron Man armorer, because this guy at least has at least 20 or 30 different figures to my knowledge. See, if I get one Iron Man, I need to get all the armors. Yeah, that's problematic, man, because they will never stop. Like, you would have to buy this figure, which is, I believe, based on the Iron Man 2 armor, which honestly is my favorite armor. I'm not gonna front. I think between this and the Avengers Endgame armor, where it's the comic book accurate, I love the simplicity of this armor. But do I want a refracted, bedazzled version? Do I need that? Absolutely not. This is for very specific collectors who need every Iron Man, who want Tony Stark in the middle doing this, you know what I mean, with all the armors around him. That's what this collection this type of figure represents. It doesn't come with much of anything. It comes with a base. It doesn't come with the head sculpt. I don't think, why would it come battle damaged? It's not. It has like its little flappy pieces. I have a very similar armor to this. I have a Neon Tech, which is black and gold, because I got it because of Wu-Tang. Killer Bees, shoutouts, 36 Chambers. But this is definitely an exclusive for certain collectors, and these figures are needed because these help to fund weirder figures like the Revan behind me, or like one of the figures that we passed on this evening, the Galen Orso, which I was going to put on the docket. I just don't care. It's a Japan exclusive. Maybe we'll cover it next week. But for this Iron Man, I don't even know. This is another one of those where if you just had the one Iron Man and this was it, would this be your Iron Man? I don't know, man. Like, this would be, I would put this, like, if I was a shop owner, I would probably put this up in my shop just to display. Like, this wouldn't be in my private collection. You know what I mean? Like, I would have this up at like a restaurant or something. Oh, that's neat. You know what I mean? Like a eye catcher as you go get sat down to get your potatoes and coleslaw. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. This figure doesn't really speak to me all that much. This particular figure. Like, I love Iron Man. I have 3 Iron Man if you count War Machine. So I love the character. I love everything about him. But like you said, this is a slippery slope. And this is one that I just really don't feel like is a necessity in anyone's collection. You know what I mean? Yeah, for me, Iron Man is not a character that you can only have one, identify with him with all the various armors. I get it. Trust me. I get it. Growing up, there's so many armors that are Iron Man to me. There's the modular Iron Man from Marvel vs. Capcom. That's Iron Man, right? There's the OG movie Iron Man, the very first film. There's the 70s Iron Man. There's the Silver Centaurian. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's tons of different looks that are just Iron Man to me. So I totally get like the need to have multiple versions of the armor, and it speaks to the character. You want to like, what's your favorite Iron Man armor? That's a very good question. I'd say I love the Mark 85. I love this because it reminds me of the old 70s Iron Man that my dad used to like. We had the yellow shoulder. We had almost like the Iron Man tank top on. It's weird, but it looks like the old 70s version. I love the Mark 85. I love the Marvel vs. Capcom armor with the missing mouth. You know, superior tech. You know, from Marvel superheroes. I think I love that armor. And if I had to pick a third armor, it would be the George Jimenez Avengers Reborn armor with the little mouth and the square and the triangle reactor. Yeah, that's a good armor too. Those are just some of my favorites. I wish they'll do the George Jimenez armor one of these days, because that's a super sick armor. As well as, does War Machine count? I love War Machine, dude. War Machine is so fucking sick. But yeah, final verdict on this one. For me, it's a pass. Not really feeling it. If it's for you, if you like it, I love it. I'm not in the business of yucking your yum, but I just don't see this fitting anywhere in my collection. So we're gonna go ahead and give this a pizzazz. Earlier, Toots mentioned Miles Morales figures, and this is one that just was recently announced, which is the Miles Morales Purple Rain suit from Spider-Man, the Miles Morales game, which was like a add-on from the Spider-Man suit, Spider-Man game, as well as Spider-Man 2 that just launched. So this is also a Hot Toys exclusive. I think only like 2,000 of these are being made, so very specific for the collector. That is purple. That is Purple Rain. I'm not feeling that one. Toots, your wish has been answered. So just a little background. Part of Figured It Out is education. So in the Spider-Man game, there's multiple different suits you can wear to run around the city. But for Spider-Man, it's easier to pull suits for, because Spider-Man's been around for like 800 years. Miles is fairly new, so a lot of his designs are brand new. And one that was from, I think, 2 games ago was this suit. This is a random suit. Doesn't have any ties to the story. Just happens to be a look that Miles can wear in the game. And sometimes Hot Toys will just put these out just to see who bites. How much do you like the color purple? You gotta really like it to buy this suit. So just a bit more details into this guy. Interesting suit because it does hearken to the whole Prowler look, because you know his uncle is the Prowler. So there's a lot of Prowler inspiration in the suit with the purples and the greens. He comes with claws similar to Superior Spider-Man. He comes with like little green slashes, as well as an accoutrement of webbing. Once again, it is a Spider-Man figure, so it's not going to be too posable. And it's cool, but not a fun story to tell when someone asks about it. Yeah, I mean, and mind you, I don't think there's any comic book significance to this armor. Otherwise, I'd tell you. Other than it has ties to the Prowler. And it's unlockable in the game. So you really gotta like the look of this suit to buy this figure. Is it a neat figure? I think it's not a bad figure. Let me say that. It's not bad. It's not offensive. If I were a Spider-Man shelf, I would have the Spider Family one, each other's Spider Person with an OG suit. I mean, that's the goal, right? You're trying to capture your iconic idea of the character, right? So you want the Miles in the black and red. You want the Peter Parker in the red and blue, right? You want Gwenpool in the black and pink and white. So you want the character to look like, in your mind's eye, what that character should look like. So figures like this are really, and this is the most toy thing that Hot Toys does, is they give you like, remember when you were a kid and you would go to Toys R Us and you just wanted Batman to look like Batman, but all they ever had in stock was Arctic Freeze Batman and Jungle Thrust Batman, and there's these green and purple Batmans, and you're like, I don't want that. I just want Batman to look like Batman. Oh, we can't forget Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider. There's also a hot toy for him too that came from the first game, one of the better Spider-Man figures. So if you ever want a Ben Reilly, ooh, if they could make the 90s Spider-Man suit Ben Reilly, oh, that's a wish. One wish. That's definitely a wish. If they could make the 90s Ben Reilly, that would be sick. Yeah, Jungle Thrust the Batman, the worst. So figures like this have never spoken to me. It just reminds me of that frustration of being a kid and wanting a clean, accurate looking Batman, and being stuck taking home Baja Blast Batman. It's like, I don't want that, dude. I want my Batman to look like it's on the TV show. You don't want to know what Jungle Thrust Batman is, bro. All I'm saying is you got to squeeze the legs together to get the action going. It's rough. It's rough. So I'm not going to dwell too much on this one, only because it's just I hate to be, I don't like being negative. It's just a nothing burger, this figure. For those who want it, get it. I'm never going to tell you no, bro, but if I'm like, I want a Miles Morales in my collection, this is obviously, unless I have like 8 other Miles, this is not one that I'm going to jump out of my seat to get, if that makes sense. So yeah, not really the biggest fan of this one. All right, we're just about to hit the end of the show for this evening, but we do have a couple of news pieces I wanted to talk about. Most recently, there was the trailer for the ballerina, which is in the world of John Wick. They made me think, would we get a ballerina figure? Are figures from this film? Only reason I ask is because there are plenty of John Wick figures out there. One just released for John Wick 4, as well as the Donnie Yen blind character. Bradley, I know you like yourself some Donnie Yen. Look up the Donnie Yen blind figure from John Wick, the 1/6 scale. Molto bella, very good figure. But would they make figures from this movie? I don't know. Sideshow tends to not really, and it sounds bad, but it's just track record. They don't make a lot of female characters. They don't make children whatsoever. There are no children figures that they make, but few exceptions, like Ahsoka and things like that. So would they make this character as a hot toy? Would Anna what's her name? Anna Toots, help me out. Bradley, help me out. What's her name? Anna De Palma or something like that. Would they make her character? I don't know. Sure, why not? Give her a ton of guns in the movie. She has this sick, in the trailer rather. She has this sick scene where she has this flamethrower. I think that would be a cool accessory. Give her a full array of guns, and I think it would be a good companion piece to John Wick, or in this case, John Wick would be a good companion piece to her. It depends on how good the film is, you know what I mean? But the thing about these deals that are made to put these figures out is that the decision is made months prior to the film actually coming out. So it's already kind of set in stone if this is to be made or not. Do I think they would do it? I mean, like I mentioned earlier, John Wick is a pretty hot commodity. So I think a lot of collectors are looking for more John Wick stuff. I think there's certain characters that are made on the third party market, like a lot of the Continental characters. I even think some of the villains. So will she appear in 1/6 scale at some point? Yeah, I think she's either going to be an official Hot Toys release, which I think will be neat, or maybe even Anart gets the license and make her like a rooted, like artisan version of her. That would be amazing. As well as give us another reason to get another John Wick, because they, Keanu Reeves has one of those faces where it's hard for them to lock in the sculpt, and it's never quite right. There's always complaints. So it gives them another reason to try to lock in that John Wick head sculpt. And maybe even give us an artisan John Wick with hair. With flowing hair. Like, I don't know any diehard John Wick fans. It's out of our generation, honestly, Toots. I know some people who won't shut up about John Wick, who think he's the coolest thing ever. But they tend to be on the younger side. You know what I mean? I don't know any, like, I know some, just in some of the circles I roll in, like doing this whole, like, Reddit, being in the forums and stuff like that. But I don't personally know anybody who's like, who loves my John Wick is my grandmother, Nana G. Let's call her Nana G. Nana G loves John Wick. She won't shut up about it. She almost loves it as much as the MCU. So, I mean, there's fans out there that would collect this, and I think that there's a market for it. Hey, they know his Matrix face. Is it because he has the glasses on? Now you're starting to believe. You see how, 100%. Like, my Doc Ock back there doesn't have the best head sculpt. When we put the glasses on him, it helps hide that a little bit. A lot of people complained about the Doc Ock figure because the head sculpt was a little wonky. But when you put the Doc Ock shades on him, it hides that. It brings the face around better. So yeah, like, they hide a lot of those imperfections with the Keanu Reeves head sculpt in the glasses, in the hair, in things like that, to try to blend that out a bit. But there's nobody more nitpicky than people in this hobby. We demand perfection for some reason. In situations like this, if glasses will help, then add glasses. And with a face like Anna here, like, that's super easy to get wrong. And most female faces, up until very recently, have been really wonky. I think, like, if you look at the Harley Quinn that's going to be coming out soon, she has this giant, like smile face, and it's just goofy. Like, it doesn't look like her. Nerds, welcome to the Nerdiverse. Definitely, we are of the nerd variety. So yeah, if you ask me, sure, let's get some ballerina figures. Let's get her in 1/6 scale. Give her a ton of weapons. Give us another reason to get a John Wick. Norman Reedus is in this film. Give us a Norman Reedus head sculpt, so we can kit bash our Walking Dead figures. Just hit us up. You know what I mean? And I don't know if I would get it, but I can see it happening. And lastly, I wanted to talk about something that's going on in the industry, about one of the movers and shakers in the 1/6 scale community. So currently there's two big dogs in the fight when it comes to 1/6 scale figure manufacturing. That is the tried and true the one true king Hot Toys and the young upstart Anart. The Anart's made a few figures that are excellent, but they take forever because they're new and they're still kind of figuring out their manufacturing flow. Another company that has been around for a while, but is just now dipping their toes into the 1/6 scale figure collecting, is J&D. J&D is known for their statues. They're known for their giant $7,000 turbo realistic statues. So they said, we're going to go ahead and dip our toes into the figure arena and make a Joker. We're going to make a Heath Ledger Joker, because obviously that license is as cheap as a Tahitian treat, and anybody can get the Heath Ledger license. That being said, they initially released like their prototypes of this particular figure, and they didn't look great. Things just looked off. One thing that's hard to catch is the uncanny valley. And I love talking about uncanny valley because it's that little thing in your brain that tells you something's not right, something's a little off. And that's enough to not only make you dislike something, it can make you uneasy. It can make you sick. If you look at something that's just off, it's kind of like AI art, you know what I mean? It's off, so it's throwing off your brain chemistries. It's, and there's something off about this figure initially that they put out. J&D, they're talking all types of crazy stuff, saying there is a full skeleton under this figure. The skin is full silicone. Hair is rooted. This thing's going to cost $18,000. No, I'm just kidding. More like $1,000, to be honest with you. So they got a lot of backlash because people were saying, well, if you're going to be charging us this much money, why does it look so weird? Why does it look worse than a figure that Hot Toys made that's half its price? Why does it look so weird and it's worth 2/3 more than what InArt's doing? So almost overnight, J&D said, okay, we're taking it back to formula. We've already made these updates. We made these changes. We're ready to go again. Here's the new version of the Joker. And you look at this picture and say, that looks pretty good, right? Looks pretty lifelike. I like the expression. The hair looks nice. But is it real? Like how, and I guess this is a question for like Toots and Bradley, like, would you trust a company that can turn their entire manufacturing rhythm on the drop of a dime and say this is the new thing now? Like, is that possible? Can let's say Toyota, who's made this design of the Toyota RAV4, and just flip it overnight? You know what I mean? Like, no, this is the RAV4. It's like, well, you have to have a billion of the other old busted ones in the warehouse. And you mean to tell me that now they're just all going to be magically changed overnight? AI is fuck. Yeah, it looks weird, right? Uncanny valley. And when you make it look too realistic, like even with Hot Toys, I mean, these things look like the actors, but they're not photorealism. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like it's messing with your brain. It's still a figure. This looks like it's a still shot, which is, and you can see that it has been doctored a little bit. You can see that there's been some focusing on the face and some slight Gaussian blur to the shoulders. You know what I'm saying? Make it pop out more. But is it real? I don't. I was going to get a Joker, but I changed my mind because in getting Joker, I have to get Christian Bale Batman, and I have enough Batmans at this point. So this is completely out of my warehouse. The hair looks weird. Yeah, and that's the problem when you really look at it, right? And that's it, Bradley. It's like, is it real though? Like, I know it's not real, right? But is this a figure that if I held it to my face like this, would it look like that? I don't know. I'm calling BS. I don't know. And I'll never know because this thing's going to be like $1,200 and way out of my price range. So I'm really torn to believe this company can turn on a drop of a dime and make something that looks worse than this better, like make this from something that looked worse than this in like a 2-month span with all of their inventory ready to rock and roll. That just doesn't seem real to me. I'm the lady on the plane. That guy back there is not real. So, and I guess that goes to the bigger picture comment, the bigger picture topic that we could talk about at the end of this episode, which is how much should collectors suspend disbelief? Like, not necessarily disbelief. How much should collectors give companies the benefit of the doubt? What is supposed to be for sale? That's the trick. Never. This thing's probably not coming out for another 2 years. Probably to the public. No, I take that back. I think they said it was like Q4 this year. Q4 this year. So it's supposed to be coming out soon. So to do a turnaround like this is weird, because I don't think they can do it. So it's like, what do you believe? This is not a movie where they can just take that one gold version of it, adjust it and flip it and put it out. There's hundreds of physical figures that would need to be adjusted and changed and modified and resculpted and have the fabrics redone and the tailoring redone. It's like, it just seems like, and for a company that's doing this for the first time, I don't know, man. That just seems, it seems like a load of bollocks to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm being cynical. Maybe I'm old. I don't know. That just seems a little far-fetched to me, that they can turn their entire production schedule on the drop of a dime and make a promise like that. So I really don't know, and we'll see. You know what I mean? We'll definitely see, and I'll definitely keep my ear to the ground when it comes to this particular figure. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the end of episode 7 of Figured It Out, the Punk Pool. We got to talk about some new Deadpool head sculpt too. If you missed it, we got to talk about the Ryan Reynolds head sculpt. Bradley E was interested in getting the Spider Punk. Yeah, I'm Billy the Butcher, minus the chest tentacle. I don't like that. So I'll use the last 3 minutes of the episode to answer any questions, chew the fat, tell me what's on your mind, and we'll close out after that. So yeah, some really interesting figures dropped this week. Interesting announcements. That DeLorean is insane. Kind of don't know what to do with that. When is the unboxing? Very good question. So for Figured It Out, me, Mike G, I'm going to be doing my first 1/6 scale figure unboxing. Which figure? You'll have to watch and see. I'm working on putting that out and filming it tomorrow. So hopefully we can have that out. If not by tomorrow, definitely by early next week. This is my very first time trying a figure unboxing of that magnitude. So I'm using new equipment. I'm going to be filming it a certain way. All very exciting, all very new. So please bear with your boy. So I'm very excited to have that on the channel. That will be appearing on YouTube. I'm still not even sure if I want it to be a short or if I want it to be a full-blown review of the figure. I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think it's gonna be more of like a minute short that I can put up on Instagram, on TikTok, and of course on YouTube. So please look forward to that. We're going into April, so that means that we're going to be doing our Figured It Out Fig Pin finds for April 2025, which I'm really looking forward to. Got some new fig pins I can't wait to show off to you guys and just talk fig pins and be able to see what can be added to my collection. So just a couple of things coming up on the channel. We're going to be doing, we just did our random select draft last MOTN Live. Check us out, MOTN Lives, Friday night, 6 o'clock Pacific Standard. Your boy, the collector, Mike G, Toots Odin, and the man we call Wash, chewing the fat. They wouldn't let me get my shit off about Burn Notice. I can talk all about it here now, but I'm not going to do that. That was for the other night. And be able to watch those episodes. I think we're going to close out there. As always, this is Mike G. If you enjoy this content, please like the actual episodes on YouTube. Please like us on find us on Instagram. Find us on Facebook. Find us on X. Please subscribe to our channel so that you're made privy of all upcoming episodes of Figured It Out, all upcoming episodes of Motn lore, and especially our event, which is Random Select. We're very excited for that. And lastly, like and comment. Lastly, comment. Bradley's gonna watch the first episode of Bird Notice tonight. You know what? When you're done watching it, text me. I want to know your true understanding. I want to know what you think. Text me, and I would love to hear from you, B. I've of course been your host, Mike G. This has been Figured It Out. As always, love what you collect, and collect what you love. Take care, everybody. Motn.